I have a couple of thoughts. You've got to bear in mind that this isn't that far away from release, like 5 weeks, 6 weeks. I think it's almost been dropped quite on the spot. Like, my next question for you is, if Holiday Haunt hadn't been cancelled, say if we were looking at seeing that in November, do you think we'd be getting Trick or Treat this year?
See, here's the thing. Smash mentioned in a Q&A that crypto has potentially been shelved. Now, to me, shelved means recorded, scripted, directed, possibly animated, but they've just decided, oh no, maybe not now. It could be a situation where this would happen maybe next year if Holiday Haunt had gone through.
Yeah.
But at the same time, why? Like, why not just put out what you create?
Because maybe they're thinking there's 2 releases too close together. To get Holiday Haunt out for Christmas, you'd probably be looking at late November. This, they're looking at early October. It's barely 6 weeks apart.
I don't think companies can afford to do this anymore, though. When we've got Marvel doing like 5 movies a year and 4 TV shows, I don't think Warner Brothers can be stingy and go, okay, we'll save this so we've got stuff to go on. Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously they're not going to play catch up because I don't think they've got the intelligence to read the room and to read the market. But I'm going to say that that type of thinking is just so anti what's going on, and it makes sense normally. Like, it's not the norm to do that. I'm going to say it's not the norm to release 2 to 3 films every year. But in a world where Marvel's doing what they're doing with TV shows and films, eventually that's going to change the market and people are going to get a new standard of content. Like, Marvel's in people's mind every month, and I think Scooby is never going to die out even if they stop making movies tomorrow. But I think in terms of capturing the modern day kids, you know, the kids that are in year 1 and year 2 that go to the shops with their parents every week and they kind of go to the DVD aisle and like, oh my gosh, I've never seen that Scooby before, I'm gonna pick it up. Even if it came out last week, even if it came out 15 years ago, it doesn't matter, they've just never seen it. I think in terms of capturing that audience, they need to keep on producing the content.
Yeah, I'd say they certainly need to kind of up their game, because we were almost in a position for a little bit where it felt like we weren't going to get 1 Scooby movie this year. Ordinarily, we used to get 2. So it's kind of conflicting as to what their plan is moving forwards. I don't know. And like, when this was even written, because it seems to have been pulled out of nowhere, which is kind of what I was thinking in regards to you saying, like, will other people be ahead and all this kind of thing. I almost feel like there isn't time for them to be. Almost like this was an emergency decision. Like, we've shelved Holiday Haunt. We've shelved crypto. What do we do?
I just wonder who's behind all this stuff, because the head of Warner Animation, Sam Register, he, from what I can gather, is a pretty cool geezer. You know what I mean? He knows his stuff, he knows the market, and he knows what will do well. I'm not sure how involved he was with the whole Scoob Holiday Haunt stuff, because that seemed to have been through the merger between HBO Max, Discovery. I don't know if he was involved with that, but it's just, I don't know what I'd be curious about is the communication, whether the people that shelved Scoob Holiday Haunt were in touch with Sam Register about the release of this movie. That's the one thing that I want to know, how coordinated the departments are.
Okay, so I guess my kind of finishing topic is why Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo and why not Holiday Haunt? It seems to be like we've got one or the other. Now, my theory is the way in which they were going to release Holiday Haunt was different to what they've done before. Like, wasn't it an exclusive HBO Max or something?
Which, in and of itself, to me, not discrediting Holiday Haunt, but right from the start, to me, that's a stupid idea.
It's like, okay, well, we're isolated because HBO Max isn't a thing in the UK. Or if it is, a lot of people don't have it.
It's not in the UK at all.
Okay, so then it's like, okay, so again, not saying that we do this, but then it's a case of, okay, so anybody in the UK has to illegally stream it, which would encourage people in the US to illegally upload it or host viewings, which is surely, you know, Warner Brothers are missing out on some like money and funding and stuff there, because there'd be people interested in getting it. Not only that, but I think weren't they tied into some kind of contract to stream it there, but which would mean that it was based on people's subscription to HBO Max instead of having individual sales. Like, this has got the individual sales of the digital download and DVD, which then refinances back into Warner Brothers, whereas that was just a streaming platform for pre-existing subscribers and stuff.
Yeah, I think the whole streaming setup at this point has become unwise, just in general.
I'd personally say they should have gone down the route they did with the first Scoob movie. It should have been a cinema release.
Yeah, they should have stuck this in the cinema. 100%.
And people would have loved it. I mean, could you imagine that? What little kid, and even JayBee and me at 25, isn't going to be happy putting on a Christmas hat, going into the cinema, picking up their popcorn, and going to see a movie in December on the build up to Christmas after you've just been around the garden centre seeing all the Christmas
Imagine
lights.
that, yeah. All the lights in the windows, the kind of smell of frost in the air, maybe even the roar of a fire. And then you hear that there's a Scooby movie about Christmas.
That would have done mad sales. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
Like, every child just breaks up for their Christmas holiday from school, 2 weeks off, and every parent in the world is like, oh, what am I gonna do? We can't take them outside because it's rainy, it's snowy, it's not great, like the weather's not nice to go out anywhere. We need to do something indoors. There's a directed to children Christmas movie on at the cinema. What parent isn't going to be like, come on kids, go grab your hats, your coats, your scarf, we're going to go and see a movie. And do you know what, even if your kids don't like it, this is what mum and dad, or mum and mum, or dad and dad used to watch when we were growing up.
Well, you know, you're going to get Christmas songs, Christmassy songs, like anything. There's no downside. What they should have done, maybe get it out mid to late November, and have it show, maybe mid-November, have it showing throughout. Don't take it out the cinema, but literally have the DVD come out 15th or 20th of December, and you've got your kid also the best stocking filler that they need.
I actually feel really strongly about
double
this.
the money.
I actually can feel this genuine strong thing that I'm feeling towards this, because how, as a kid, JayBee, how much would you have loved it if it was Christmas Eve and literally you were putting on a Santa hat to go and see a Scooby-Doo Christmas movie?
Not just that, a Scooby-Doo Santa hat. With it being a cinematic release, they could have done merch.
Oh wait, but then Warner Brothers don't do the merch in the UK. It would only have been available in America.
Like imagine a little pop-up store at Morrison's or Walmart. Like, they could have had
just cinema, for goodness sake.
It would have been so cheap. Ball, just make it white, make it red, make it green. Scoob Holiday Haunt logo on it. Sell it for $2.50. People will buy that. Even just with Scooby's face on it, people are gonna buy it. I think it's just ridiculous that they wouldn't do that. And that David Zaslav that took over, if there's one thing I agree with him on, it's focusing on theatrical releases. But Scoob, the first one, was made to be theatrical. It just wasn't because of the pandemic. So there's no reason why they should just take this movie and just not release it. Like,
I am saying they would have made so much money. Like, if they want to sit there and cry about 4 million in tax or whatever it was, I don't even remember.
They've lost so much money now.
If they'd have done that, they'd have made so much more. But it's because it's almost like if they got into a contract with HBO Max that it was guaranteed to be their property or something.
But why? That's such a bad business model.
It sounds so stupid. Like JayBee and I've said, that could have been an ideal Christmas release. I genuinely couldn't think of anything better than finishing my last day at work for Christmas. I think I get to finish on about the 21st of December, driving home, picking up JayBee, and that been the start of my Christmas.
One day people are gonna eat their words about something I've said. Ever since we started the podcast, I've been saying Warner Brothers don't know what they're doing with Scooby. It needs to go to a company like Disney.
To go to Disney.
And everyone always says that's a stupid idea. Disney own too much. What do you mean they own too much?
Well.
Obviously they have a vicious monopoly on it. Obviously they're vicious, right? But it's maybe they've got the resources, but they work hard as well. There's been stuff, maybe they work too hard, because they've had so many controversies about not treating their VFX people well. But it's like a situation where they just do so much, and it's like us. We do an interview consistently, one every week, whereas most other shows like ours do one maybe once a month, once every 2 weeks, like longer
We're the
than
Disney.
that. I think we are the Disney at this point. We produce it. We don't overhype and underperform. It's just out. Like Disney.
We don't shelve it for 2 years and then think, we need something to go out now. What do? We do weekly interviews. We do, like, and normally I let JB do all this, like, talking stuff about what we do. But do you know what we actually do? Like, weekly interviews at least once, because with some celebrations and stuff, we're going to hit more than that. It can be like twice a week and stuff.
Yeah, we've had a situation where there's been literally like 3 in a row. And I think it was recently, I think it was the Morgan Baden announcement, the Ed Sharlock interview, and then the Paul Becker interview.
But it's like that, like, I don't know why Warner Brothers would be like, oh, we'll keep this on the shelf. You don't know when you're going to need it. I guarantee
the more Warner Brothers mess up, if they haven't already, eventually all the people that were saying that Disney shouldn't do Scooby, they're going to be on my side by the end of it. Because I just know that they're going to mess up again.
Well, see, this is the thing, is Disney would make it better, and I hate to say it,
or
but
they would just make it and release it. Like, say what you want about Disney, they release what they make.
I get the Disney store closed recently and everything, but think about Holiday Haunt, if it was done by Disney, when you do your Christmas shop in a shopping centre, and there used to be a Disney store, you'd get Holiday Haunt baubles, you'd get Holiday Haunt stockings,
snow globes,
teddies and snow globes.
Man.
It would be so good. But the fact of the matter is, Warner Brothers are absolute trash when it comes to promotion. Literally, they do leave it down to, like, anybody that cares about Scooby to do it. Like, the Save This Holiday Haunt thing, look how much exposure that got because the community cared.
They will never fail, though.
Didn't care
financially, I don't think. As long as Warner has Harry Potter, I reckon they can do whatever they want with other
But it's like the trust fund kid who gets their inheritance and then does... I've got an example in mind of who I'm thinking of. Like, it's like a trust fund kid who gets their inheritance and then lives off it. And just doesn't work hard. Like, they had Harry Potter, they've got their inheritance, that's going to cover them for life. And now it's just, oh, I can do this project, I can do this project. It's not about what makes financial sense. It's not about trying to capitalise and market things very well. It's just a case of, oh, well, I've got enough.
I just don't get it, because with this and Holiday Haunt, it would have just been business as usual. It wouldn't have been Warner Brothers going above and beyond, right? It wouldn't have been, oh, you know, we're just going to save this for later because we've hit quota. They've not hit quota yet.
This is going to be controversial because I'm actually excited about this movie. And like I say, I think the writer's done an incredible job of everything that I've seen so far. But if it came down to it between this and Holiday Haunt, we have Happy Halloween. We've got a Halloween Scooby-Doo movie. Do we have a Christmas Scooby movie? No.
Well, I disagree. I disagree about if it's between this and that. Cause...
No, if it comes down to that. I was excited, like...
Well, I was more excited for Holiday Haunt than I am for this. I'll say that much. I think there was more going on. Like, it was just different, right? Because we've had a lot of movies with this continuity in loose terms with this cast, who I do like, with the exception of Kate Micucci. But we've got so many there's so much going on with Holiday Haunt with up and coming stars like McKenna Grace, who's fresh off of Ghostbusters, Ian Armitage, who's young Sheldon, like so many new people that I think, especially, and this is just because I know them the most from, like, you know, their movies, McKenna Grace. It's like, who's a legendary actor that our generation knows? I guess we always have Judi Dench or Meryl Streep, right? They're like, oh my gosh, look at them. I think our kids, grandkids will talk about McKenna Grace the same way we talk about, you know, Meryl Streep and stuff. This would have been...
Thompson.
Yeah, like Emma Thompson. This would have been one of the first projects from that cast of, you know, the future generation of acting. And that's what I was excited for, to see where that would go. And with them being kids, they could literally replicate Harry Potter again. We could have them going from Kid Mystery Inc. And there could be a series of movies watching them, same actors, same cast, growing up and develop as people until eventually we get a Scoob, which, you know, but that's kind of my thing. Like, I think there's more potential in that because it didn't have to fit into the direct-to-video movie format. It could have been a continuity, character arcs, it could have been a saga, and I think there's more potential in that than this. So this could come out and be fantastic, which I'm absolutely sure it is. But do I think that they're going to do a Trick or Treat 2 where it addresses all the character development that these guys have been through in this movie and expand upon it? No. They're going to do another movie next year, maybe 2 movies next year if we're lucky. That's going to be a fun, interesting story, I'm sure, but it's just going to be fun. I think Scoob Holiday Haunt would have been fun, but with potential of further growth. World building. So I'm not going to say if it's a choice, because obviously, like Holiday Haunt, this movie has writers, animators, storyboard artists, composers, all the people involved in it that I've no doubt put all their hard work into it. But I'm going to say definitely I was more hyped for Holiday Haunt than this. And that's kind of my piece on it. And like you say, we've already got Happy Halloween Scooby-Doo, which was fun, but I don't know if we needed another one this soon. I really don't.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, I'm just looking, and if you bear with me a second, I was kind of getting the numbers up of how much, because I think you raised a really valid point about just how much, you know, like Warner Brothers capitalized off Harry Potter, and it almost just seems like nothing else mattered. Do you know what I mean?
This is my controversial thoughts that I've just had.
Okay.
Obviously, actors get paid more when the movie comes out.
Yeah.
So, I love the cast of the Scooby movies. I really do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Lillard, fantastic. Grey Delisle, fantastic. Frank Welker, legend, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they've kind of been on the scene for a while, right? And the world of acting is tough. People don't last forever. And sometimes people retire, and some of them in that cast aren't too far off from retirement age or something, right?
The Holiday Haunt could have been a good reboot.
Well, not just that. I don't think it would have been. I think it would have been its own thing. But from a business perspective, McKenna Grace is the future of the Ghostbusters franchise now for Sony. One of the biggest franchises that's ever been. And it's like, why would you want to annoy who you could eventually, maybe 5 years from now, be making a movie that you want them in? Like, surely that's just severing or muddying the water with a lot of upcoming stars.
You'd think so.
That haven't had their heyday yet.
And while we're talking about kind of Holiday Haunt and how it was, you know, financially based and everything, for the money that they have, how much do you think, and we talked about Harry Potter being like their main income,
Oh yeah.
how much do you think the Harry Potter franchise is worth?
Jesus, like worth?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say nothing short of 50 billion.
Okay, you're correct. It's not much short of 50 billion. $43.19 billion.
Oh.
And they don't have the money to pay tax for Holiday Haunt.
They could literally just put out a Harry Potter Funko Pop, the 78th billion variant of Harry Potter Funko Pop, and make up that money.
Yep.
But that's why Warner's will never fail, because if somebody even like Disney want to not just buy Scooby, but buy Warner Brothers, they are essentially buying Harry Potter, and I don't think they've got the money, I think, but I don't think they've got the pocket to go, okay, this is worth it.
I mean, it's a lot for something that's almost just left now. You know, like, what I mean?
For me, what's a great thing? Like, you can think something's fantastic, but be hesitant. So say a Sarah Michelle Gellar autograph, £500. Even if I had the money, it wouldn't just be an easy decision. So even if you've got the means, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to do it. Like Disney, I don't think they would ever buy Warner Brothers.
Okay, but hear me out. They bought Marvel, right?
I think they they absorbed Marvel. So
Okay.
yeah, essentially.
Marvel net worth at the same time that was the net worth of Harry Potter was 53 billion.
Really?
Yeah.
From just because I think the first Disney Marvel was Avengers. Oh.
As of 2021, which is the same time I was talking about for what Harry Potter was worth at that time. Was worth
No,
53
I think
billion.
they got Marvel quite early on, especially Marvel Studios. That was like 2012.
Yeah, they'd have got it for cheaper than that. But what I'm saying is, like, Marvel and Harry Potter are worth a similar amount.
Really?
Yeah. Which is kind of mad because Marvel's, like, huge.
Warner Brothers also own DC as well.
Yeah. It'd be a lot to absorb, but ultimately, I think one day it'll happen. I think Warner Brothers are gonna... Harry Potter's gonna have to run out eventually. Do you know what I mean? Even if it's not in our lifetime.
I don't know. It's stuff for life, really, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, our life.
I don't know. I think people are still gonna pick it up. Like,
No, like, I find the next generation aren't taken to Harry Potter in the same way. Like, my nieces and nephews just don't take to it the same way.
yeah, but I think they're gonna at least know.
They'll know of it, but I don't think it'll have the same stature.
No, but I think they come out with a future adaptation and just stick a bunch of TikTok stars in as the cast. And the kids are gonna be screaming and shouting about it.
Maybe. I think that kind of does it for thoughts, right?